kids watching Happy Tree Friends 20 or 30 years from now the same way that they watch Tom and Jerry now. So really, it's Ken Navarro. While there's no denying that Ken Navarro deserves a great deal of praise and credit for his work on the show, keep in mind he wasn't the only reason why the show was good. If it wasn't for the help of these guys right here, Happy Tree Friends would never have been a massive hit in the first place. So yeah, Ken Navarro doesn't necessarily deserve all of the credit. In 2006, the show would eventually go on to receive its own TV series, and began airing on various television networks like MTV and Comedy Central channels that were located in Europe. Not only that, but the show would also receive a boost in quality, where the animation became a lot more smoother and the character designs were a lot less rough around the edges. Airing in more than 50 countries, Happy Tree Friends was exposed to millions of people across the globe. And that wasn't even the end of it. The show would also go on to spawn a few additional animations for the series, such as the Twinkles, the Love Bites, the Smoochies, and of course the original episodes. Not only that, the show would also go on to spawn some other things such as merchandise, comics, and of course a few video games. Although granted there was only one console game ever released for the series, which was given the title Happy Tree Friends False Alarm.
Is it two
The other
vintages?
ones they released were mostly nothing
Go to
but
Nubu.
games, and these were different.
Hackhausen.
Nor do I plan on
Wait.
doing so for
Wait.
the matter. In all honesty, these games
Oh, bye, Roger. Bye-bye.
especially not this one.
What the fuck? Nope, no thank you.
But by far one of the more interesting things the Happy Tree Friends would be involved in was the time when they made a music video for the song Cartoon Tunnel of Love, a song that was created by the Fall Out Boys and was released in 2006. The video shows Giggles and Cuddles falling in love with each other, all while Lumpy is going around inadvertently in his own friend's kiss. And this is all happening while the song is playing in the background. Not to mention, the Fall Out Boys themselves make a cameo appearance in the video, but as cartoon bears. In February 2007, the music video was released on the Fall Out Boys website and would eventually make its way to YouTube in 2012, where it currently sits at around 8.6 million views as of recording this video. As if things couldn't get any better for Mondo Media, they
Oh, it's Woody. Stupid equal machine. I hate you.
On the 22nd of January 2007, Mondo Media created its official YouTube channel and began uploading Mondo Media content to the channel. The first few videos they uploaded didn't garner much attention at the time. However, that would all eventually change when they started uploading Happy Tree Friends episodes. The videos started going viral upon their release, with each one of them gaining millions upon millions of views. In fact, two of their most popular videos currently sitting around 86 million views, which is quite the achievement. Now keep in mind, YouTube was a completely different place back in the day, where individual content creators had very limited resources and had to work with what they had lying around at the time, which basically meant you could create incredibly cringy content and yet somehow still get noticed. Remember, this was around the time when Threads was still a thing.
Hey, it's Fred! And I'm gonna brush my teeth because I have a dentist appointment today. Brushing my teeth tickles.
Yay.
Mondo Media was different. It wasn't a single content creator, it was a private company. One that was uploading episode after episode of a series that actually made people laugh. And just like at the film festivals and it's run on
I like Rudy
television,
more.
Happy Tree Friends had a massive appeal with
Get in here.
audiences on YouTube.
Wait, who died?
Media was in the money. Now, in hindsight, this really shouldn't be surprising. After all, Mondo Media has proven themselves to be quite the innovators when it comes to using online platforms as a way of advertising their brand. Not to mention, in 2013, Mondo Media was considered to be one of the most popular YouTube channels at the time, earning themselves 1.3 billion views and gaining 3 million subscribers. To say that
I'll take that,
Happy
thank you.
Tree Friends was a massive hit would be quite the understatement. Not only did the show manage to gain great reception from audiences and surprisingly positive reviews from critics, but it even went on to receive a few awards over the years at film festivals, which is quite an achievement considering the context of the show. Now, it is also worth mentioning that Happy Tree Friends wasn't the only successful show that Mondo Media had under their belts. They had also gained a great deal of success from other shows like Dick Figures and Deep Space 69, which, judging from the title, I think you all can get an idea of what that show is about. Yes. But Happy Tree Friends was by far Mondo Media's most popular IP. If anything, it was basically the face of Mondo Media. When you think of the company Mondo Media nowadays, Happy Tree Friends is always the one thing that pops to mind first. With all the success the show has made, it seemed as if Happy Tree Friends was unstoppable, and as if nothing could bring the show down. But, unfortunately for the Happy Tree Friends, the storm of controversy was on the horizon.
The crank.
Most people are probably not aware of, but wouldn't be surprised to hear in hindsight, was that Happy Tree Friends found itself in a bit of controversy during its time on television. Parents were concerned about the graphics of the show and the looming possibility that children might end up watching it. One of these parents even went as far as to write a letter to the Washington Post.
The what? I love. No.
Now don't get me wrong, keeping R-rated content out of the hands of children is something I can agree with. If anything, it's completely mandatory. But remember, that's the job of the rating system and the parents. The show was rated as PG-13, and episodes themselves had warnings put in place before the cartoon started, making it very clear that Happy Tree Friends was not meant for young children. So, I think we all know whose fault it is in this situation.
Yeah. Oh, I just ran.
Cannot watch from television,
Give me that, thank you.
sure they weren't watching said adult content in the first place. But rather than just sitting down and having a conversation with their children, they instead chose to basically blame the creators of the show. Some of which even went as far as to start sending the creators hate mail. Yeah, that's not an ironically childish thing to do now, is it? Unsurprisingly, no one from behind the scenes was taking any of this hate mail seriously. In fact, they even went as far as to mock their asses by creating a bonus feature.
I feel like it's like one of those shows that like everybody can get behind. It's like I say, it's relatable.
Give me that, thank you.
But apparently some people can not relate to the show, and they send us email, and so because we're that kind
Here's a machine.
Show disgusting like having kind of blood.
Dang
Why
it.
must the show have the blood?
I think this show is ridiculous. Firstly, it's violence. Secondly, it teaches children things that they don't need to know, like violence.
Dear Happy Tree Friends, the show is crap. How could you make such a show? You put violence into children's mind. I am a child. It is horrible. It is horrible. It's horrible.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, the controversy wasn't over. Happy Tree Friends would also find itself in trouble with an entire country.
A country? Oh, of course.
Joking when I say this, people, but Happy Tree Friends actually did find itself in controversy with the Russian government. The controversy started in 2008 when Russia's Protestant church began issuing complaints about the show's graphic violence. An official from the church even stated that the television channel 2x2 was perverting the morality of the nation and demanded that the there was also an official complaint from a government watchdog who stated that the show was too cruel and too violent. This, unsurprisingly, prompted the Russian government to take immediate action, and they demanded 2x2 to remove the show off the air. This, unsurprisingly, led many Russian fans to be outright frustrated with the government's actions, with many of them believing this to be an unnecessary act of censorship, especially considering the blatant hypocrisy coming out of the Russian government's mouth.
Wait, who said that?
The animated show for graphic violence, and yet they have plenty of television shows and movies that feature real-life human beings being killed in brutal and gory ways. Yeah, that's hypocrisy I don't know what is. Not to mention, the regulatory body for Russian television was even quoted of saying this. Despite the outrage from fans, it didn't stop the inevitable.
Oh, I'll take that, thank you.
Television and was subsequently banned from Russia altogether. And that's not even the end of it. Recently, in July of this year, a Russian court has banned Tree Friends and several other animated movies. And I am not joking, but during this time,
Why is he so
someone
dang
was
slow?
literally quoted
Look at that.
saying this about the cartoon. You know, it really hurts my brain knowing an actual adult said that. But despite the abysmal controversy, it didn't seem to have much of a negative effect on Happy Tree Friends. They continued creating more episodes for the show and would even go on to create a new series called Happy Tree Friends.
Wait, why was an eye on
A
my
spin-off series that had a heavy emphasis on action, along with a different art style. However, it still maintained the comedy
It's
that
very
made
slow.
Happy Tree Friends popular in the first place. While it was a viral hit on YouTube, it was sadly short-lived, only lasting around 6 episodes. In 2011, there was an attempt to bring the show back on Kickstarter, but sadly the Kickstarter failed. But despite all that, the show marched on regardless, with more episodes being released and each one of them becoming a viral hit on YouTube. In fact, Mondo Media would actually go on to create a few videos for YouTube. The first one was called YouTube 101 Subscriptions, which surprisingly enough doesn't even have any gore in it. And the second one was the infamous YouTube copyright school video.
If YouTube receives a valid notification of alleged copyright infringement from a copyright holder for one of your videos, the video will be removed in accordance with the law.
Yeah, to say this video has aged like milk would simply not be cutting it. Also, you wouldn't be surprised to see that the comments have been disabled on the video, and the like to dislike ratio, well... However, in 2014, after the release of the final episode at the time, Dream Job, the show would undergo a hiatus for the next 2 years. And this was the beginning of the end for Happy Tree Friends. Now, the show undergoing a hiatus wasn't really anything new for the franchise at the time. The show had already undergone 2 hiatuses before in the past, with each one only lasting for around a year. Once the time was up, the show would bounce back and become successful once again. However, this time, the show was unlucky. Now, there are 3 reasons for why the hiatus happened. The first reason was due to the fact that Mondo Media was wasn't requesting for new episodes to be made by that point. The second reason was because Ken Navarro was busy working on his own projects at the time and couldn't fill in for the show. The final reason was
No, boy.
including the Happy Tree Friends movie.
No, boy.